Very intricate workings to hide a very significant treasure that could be it. We find something that's dateable down there, even better. What do you got? We found Rick Lagina and his team dive deep into the garden shaft, armed with the latest tools, full of excitement for the newest discovery that promises to change everything. They're using cameras and casings, hoping to find an ancient tunnel hidden underground. Over at Lot 5, things are moving slowly, but Jack Begley and Larnian discover red pottery and charcoal, hinting at old stories. Could these discoveries reshape our understanding of Oak Island? Join us as the team switches to a bigger drill bit, ready to reveal the island's hidden answers that will change the course of time, digging deep at Oak Island in the latest adventure at Oak Island. Rick Lagina and his brother are once again diving into their search for treasure, teaming up with folks from Duma Contracting Company to dig around the garden shaft. It seems like they're more into the thrill of the search than actually finding treasure. They're using some pretty high-tech gear like sewer cameras and casings to look deep into the ground, hoping to find a tunnel that might even be older than the shaft they're currently exploring. This adds an exciting twist, making us wonder if they're on the path to discovering real historical treasures or just spinning their wheels. Over on Lot 5, Jack Begley and Larnian are finding bits of red pottery and charcoal, which really makes you think about who might have been here ages ago. But even with these cool finds, they're feeling a bit stuck. Because things aren't moving as fast as they'd like, Lar decides it's time to ramp up their efforts, which leads them to uncover more intriguing stuff like a mix of clay and wooden fragments. Things take a big turn when they find a small piece of wood. It's too tiny to date using carbon methods, but it gets tied into big ideas about Europeans who might have come to North America way before Columbus. They base this on a lead token and an old cross from France from the 1300s, which could mean we need to rethink some of our history books, even though the proof is pretty thin. Then there's Gary Drayton, who's an ace with a metal detector. He picks up signals of metals like gold, silver, and copper deep down in the shaft. This part of the episode is set up to be a huge deal, but it kind of fizzles out without any major discoveries. With the digging season winding down and the team needing better tools, they decide to switch to a bigger drill bit, hoping it'll help them get past whatever's blocking the shaft. The digging continues. The team starts imagining they might find a tunnel loaded with metal that leads to some hidden vault. This exciting idea pushes them to keep drilling and searching. The deeper they go, the more stuff they find, like over 1,000 lead tokens and several old coins that date back to the same time as that lead cross they found earlier. But instead of clearing up their questions about the island, these new finds just make everything more confusing. Back in their war room, where they go over all their discoveries, they talk about coming back next season to keep looking. Dr. Spooner thinks there could be some interesting materials near the garden shaft, but so far, no treasure. The episode ends with plans for more digging, leaving any potential treasure still hidden and the whole story still hanging. The team decides to go deeper into the garden shaft, convinced there's a hidden tunnel below. Every time they try, though, it seems like they need to dig just a bit more. Their determination is impressive, but they're not really hitting the jackpot at the same time. They start poking around other parts of the island, like an ancient well on Lot 26 that they think was built in the 11th century. This old well brings a bit of history to their quest. The team thinks maybe someone hid something really valuable there a long time ago. It's a fun thought, but it feels more like a fairy tale than real life. As more time goes by, they keep focusing on Lot 26. They talk a lot about the progress they're making, not because they found anything big, but because they hope they will. The well is interesting because it's so old, but they haven't found any treasure there yet. The Lagina brothers, who are leading the team, are really committed to the search, but you have to wonder if they're more excited about the search itself than finding any actual treasure. When they finally get past some obstacles in the garden shaft with a bigger drill bit, all they find is some old wood. That's pretty disappointing after all the build-up. The team shifts their focus to Lot 5, wondering if their guess about hidden treasures is right or if they're just following false leads. They decide to put more effort into searching Lot 5, right next to the garden shaft, thinking it might be full of gold and silver. This idea is more of a hunch than anything based on solid evidence. Gary, one of the team members, believes that if they just keep searching all the different areas and lots on the island, they'll eventually strike it rich. This hope comes from other things they found before, but those often turned out to be pretty ordinary. The treasure hunt on Oak Island combines real historical interest with what feels like a dreamy quest for riches. The team keeps digging, driven by both the history of the island and their wild imaginations. Whether they'll find something significant or just add more tales to the island's legend is still up in the air. As people watch their efforts, some doubt they'll find anything substantial, but there's still a small glimmer of hope that maybe this time they'll strike gold. Rick and Marty Lagina's story, two brothers hooked on the legendary treasure of Oak Island, could be likened to a childhood adventure tale that they've never really left behind. Sparked by an article Rick stumbled upon in Reader's Digest as a youngster, their young minds were captured by tales of buried riches, dangerous traps, and hidden tunnels. Decades later, Rick still talks about their digs at the infamous money pit with a sense of wonder, though it's possible he's more enamored with the hunt than the actual treasure. Growing up in Michigan, Rick was the dreamer, always the older brother with his head in the clouds. His fascination with treasure began when he discovered an unusual rock in his hometown, thinking it might conceal something valuable. He managed to convince Marty and some friends to dig around it. They didn't find anything, of course, but the thrill of the hunt had taken hold. That initial excitement has only grown into an intense treasure hunt with every new discovery they make as adults. Their fascination has deepened, leading them to spend countless hours and a fortune trying to unearth the hidden things of Oak Island. Their adventures, fueled by legends of immense wealth, have often ended in disappointment. The unfinished story in Rick's cherished Reader's Digest may not have been an error, but rather a symbol of their never-ending quest, a cycle of excitement and letdowns with no real end in sight. Despite numerous disappointments and critics who dismissed their efforts as chasing after nothing, the Lagina brothers press on. They seem captivated by the island's history as much as by the possibility of finding hidden treasure. Their adventures, which are broadcast on television, might look to some like an expensive hobby rather than a serious exploration. Each season, they find a few more items, usually small and not directly connected to any treasure, that somehow keep their hopes alive. These small discoveries are celebrated as crucial clues, keeping the narrative exciting for viewers and perhaps convincing the brothers to continue their search. Some might argue that Oak Island's real treasure isn't something tangible, but the stories that have sprung up around its legend. For the Laginas, perhaps the true value lies in the chase itself, in their lifelong role as treasure hunters continually drawn to the promise of the next big discovery. Yet, as they dig up more earth and find little more than rocks and dirt, one has to wonder if this quest for treasure is just an expensive venture fueled by captivating tales and the persistent question of what might be. This relentless pursuit, wrapped in the romantic notion of uncovering long-lost historical riches and striking it rich, captivates not just the brothers but also those who watch their quest unfold on TV. The cycle of excitement and disappointment not only defines their treasure hunts but also seems to be a central theme in their lives now. As each digging season ends, they plan for the next, driven by the eternal hope that maybe, just maybe, the next dig will be the one that finally uncovers Oak Island's hidden treasures. In the meantime, the excitement of discovery and the joy of the search keep them and their audience engaged, forever chasing a conclusion that may never arrive. Finding traces of gold brings new excitement, encouraging the team to dig deeper into both the ground and the island's history. New, incredible findings at Oak Island. Despite consistently encountering only mud and muck, the persistent treasure hunters of Oak Island haven't lost their enthusiasm. On the contrary, their excitement for the treasure hunt seems to grow with each passing day. This increase in enthusiasm might be because they feel closer than ever to finding the long-sought-after treasure. For those actively digging and those watching from home, it seems they might finally be on the brink of a significant breakthrough. This renewed excitement stems from recent activities by Duma Contracting Company at the Garden Shaft. When it was revealed that traces of gold were found in wood samples from an older shaft, it sparked a mix of skepticism and excitement among the team and viewers alike. As they dug deeper, Marty, always the cautious planner, suggested bringing in more equipment to expand their testing capabilities. Armed with new clues, the team sets out on a fresh expedition. Meanwhile, Rick, Tom Nolan, and other team members gathered in the war room to plot their next moves. They were guided by a plan developed by Tom's late father, Fred Nolan, back in the 1970s. Fred had discovered a well filled with pottery near the swamp on his property. Initially, when the team explored the well, they found nothing but pottery and decided to refill it. However, the recent discovery that this well dates back to 1028 reignited their interest. Could this ancient well hint at a bigger story, or was it just another dead end? The story gets a bit more complicated with the finding of a four-sided shape back in the 90s near Nan's Cross. During a dig, they found a bunch of big rocks. Tom thinks his dad put those rocks there on purpose to help with digging later, by breaking up the thick soil that naturally covers the area. While this idea makes sense, it doesn't really help clear up the ongoing uncertainty that seems to always hang over the island. This info comes from a book by Fred Nolan, who used to take care of the island. The stories in the book go back and forth between intriguing hints and frustrating dead ends. As the current group digs more into both the ground and the long history of the island, you have to wonder if they're actually getting to the bottom of a true story or just digging themselves deeper into a well-made legend. The treasure of Oak Island still seems as far out of reach as ever, with every new discovery leading to more questions about the legend rather than answering any. But despite this, or maybe because of it, the hunt for treasure is still very exciting. It keeps pulling in new people, not just because they might find treasure, but because they get to be part of a famous tale that has intrigued many for years. Tom spoke with affection about his father's attempt to write a book about his work on the island, which never got published. He felt the world wasn't quite ready for what could have been a hit. If it had been published, the book would have given a detailed glimpse into his father's many years of effort there. But Tom seemed to think that the timing just wasn't right for such a story to come out. Rick listened to Tom talk about his dad's unpublished book, but he was more interested in the actual historical traces left on the island. He was especially interested in the different wells around the island, particularly one near Fred Nolan's property that was still open. This piqued Rick and his team's curiosity, leading them to decide to check out this well more closely, along with another area called the Quadrilateral, hoping to find something big. Looking back at Fred Nolan's time on the island, you could see his search for gold as pretty old school, since he didn't use metal detectors. Some might see this as being stubbornly traditional or sadly inefficient, depending on who you ask. Nolan's approach could be viewed as either a charming commitment to the old ways or a missed opportunity because he didn't want to use modern tech. While they continue to search for treasure, the team is also uncovering more of the island's past. Each find adds to the story they're piecing together. The Lagina brothers' latest unknown plans, Rick's plans for exploration, were about digging in two ways: actually digging into the ground and symbolically digging into the island's history by exploring these places. They hope to find not just physical objects but also deeper insights into what happened historically on the island. This exploration was as much about uncovering stories and understanding the people from the past as it was about finding real treasures. With the latest tools, they're diving deeper into the island's history, eager to see what it might reveal. The digging became an exploration into the past, uncovering both the ambitions and possible mistakes of those who had tried to either unearth or bury the island's hidden stories. This ongoing exploration held the promise of revealing not only what was hidden beneath the island's surface but also the deeper truths behind the stories told by people like Tom, who considered their ancestors' unrecognized efforts as overlooked masterpieces. It was still uncertain whether these digs would prove Tom's high opinion of his father's work or simply add more layers to the island's complex history. Regardless, this phase was shaping up to be a revealing episode in the ongoing narrative of the island, blending the quest for gold with the fascination for Oak Island's mysterious past. Despite the weather damage, the samples from the wood already told an important story. They indicated that the history of human activity on the island went way back, much further than we initially believed. Throughout the treasure hunting history of the island, people have occasionally found old pathways or roads. At first, you might think these were just trails left by more recent searchers or settlers. However, it usually turns out that there's more to these paths. This particular road they found in 2006 ran for hundreds of yards, navigating through varied landscapes. It skirted around small ponds, cut through wooded areas, and even crossed a critical watershed area between the upland and Smith's Cove. Toward the northern end of this road, they discovered something else intriguing: a rock-lined pit or maybe even a tunnel. And that's not all. The whole situation opens up a lot of questions we don't yet fully understand. All the details about this road, like exactly when it was built and who might have built it, are still up in the air, waiting to be answered by future discoveries in the area. This ancient road, buried under the island, is like a silent witness to events and people we haven't yet figured out, pushing us to keep exploring and piecing together the island's hidden past. This road was first spotted during a search for the original pit on the island. Initially, the end of the road appeared to be just a typical bare stretch. However, a closer look revealed it was a rock and dirt path, a kind of makeshift road often found in rural settings. The top layer was composed of rocks embedded in dirt and covered with peat, which masked its appearance, making it seem less worn and untouched by human activity. There were no clear imprints or marks that indicated who might have laid down the road or when it was built. This scenario was common in various parts of the road, where it became challenging to trace exactly how the road was constructed. The discovery of coconut fiber within the structure of the road was particularly surprising. It's not something you'd expect to find in this context, and initially, it was quite shocking to the finders. The presence of such materials hinted at a more complex construction than first assumed, suggesting that there was a planned effort to build a durable road, perhaps for transporting materials or as part of a larger operation. Finding an old road on Oak Island suggests people were active there much earlier than we thought, opening up new possibilities for exploration. Discovering the ancient road on Oak Island, Marty and Rick Lagina, along with their exploration team, were investigating an island located off the southeast coast of Nova Scotia, Canada. They stumbled upon this road early in June 1996 while clearing land on the southeastern end of the island. What seemed initially like a flat piece of land turned out to be an elevated rock formation paved with flat stones laid closely together. This discovery prompted a series of discussions among the team about how to verify the presence of a stone road and understand its extent and purpose. Despite conducting a geophysical survey, the results were inconclusive. However, the idea of a stone road persisted, especially after geophysicist Mike Hunt, in a separate survey, identified a packed and rolled stone surface almost 3 feet below the modern surface of the land in an area far from any known old buildings or previously cleared land. This led to a brief investigation in the area, though it was considered possible that this feature was linked to a modern artifact, specifically a trench that was dug during the Second World War. The excavation in this area unearthed a layer of homogeneous clay containing various artifacts, suggesting that this area could have historical significance beyond what was initially visible. The depth of the clay and the artifacts found were similar to those found in the wartime trench, indicating that this feature might be an extension of the stone road discovered. Given these findings, the decision was made to further investigate the area to the north by trenching across the line of the road revealed by Hunt's survey. This excavation turned out to be successful. The team found stone rubble about 1.6 feet below the modern land surface in a small area that also had a relatively high density of artifacts. This find was exciting, as it suggested that the road might lead to or be connected with another structure or perhaps another road line. The exploration of this road and its surroundings was scheduled to continue to see if further connections or structures could be uncovered. However, the work had to be paused during the winter months. The team plans to resume the excavation in the spring of the next year, hopeful that they will uncover more about this intriguing structure. Keep watching for more. The discovery and exploration of this road are more than just an exercise in archaeology. They represent a chance to connect with the history of the island, piecing together the activities that took place there long before the modern era of treasure hunters and explorers. Every artifact and structure uncovered adds another layer to our understanding, suggesting that its history is far richer and more complex than anyone might have guessed from the surface. As we wait for the spring and the resumption of work, we're left to wonder about the stories that lie buried beneath the surface. What were the people like who built this road? What were they doing on the island? How does this road fit into the larger history of the area? These are the questions that keep historians, archaeologists, and curious minds engaged with the ongoing exploration. It's a testament to the human spirit's relentless pursuit of understanding our past, and each new discovery is a piece of the answer that brings us closer to a fuller picture of historical life on this intriguing island. The stone road is quite an impressive piece of work, and rightly so. It's made up of about 6,000 stones, which shows it was way ahead of its time in terms of engineering. Unlike the narrow paths we usually picture from ancient times, this one was built wide and flat, probably so it could handle lots of traffic, maybe from a bunch of people or even carts. What really stands out about this road is how carefully it was put together. It starts with a base of compact clay, topped with evenly placed stones, definitely not something nature whipped up. This setup tells us that a lot of thought and planning went into this road. It wasn't just thrown together. And there's even more. This road was likely a major route meant to connect important spots, maybe leading to the Money Pit or South Shore Cove. The folks from the island, including the Lagina brothers, think the road was supposed to make getting from one part of the island to the other a lot easier. It's hard to imagine such a complex road was just for hauling stuff from Smith's Cove. It was probably built for transporting some important items to the island, playing a big part in what was going on there at the time. It must have taken a huge effort and lots of manpower to build such a road during that period. When this road was found, it really got people talking about where it started and where it went. The way it was built so precisely has led to a lot of talk about why it was made. Some folks think it might be something like those ancient sacred roads in Greece, like the ones leading to the Oracle of Delphi. The Lagina brothers like this idea, seeing the island as a potential treasure trove. Others thought the road might have been built to stay dry over wetlands or function like a bridge between places separated by water. There's also talk that it could have reached an early settlement or been laid down by newcomers trying to make the most of a landscape, suggesting that the builders might not have been originally from the island but were looking to settle and adapt to a new environment. All in all, the stone road isn't just an old path. It's a key piece of the island's history and continues to be central to understanding what happened there back in the day. The careful construction of the stone road raises many questions, encouraging the team to delve deeper into the island's past. Some folks even think the road might be proof that aliens visited the island. While these ideas are really just wild guesses, they show just how much amazement the stone road has caused for those who've looked into its details. In previous discussions, we've seen that the information and scientific analysis related to this road are seriously impressive. It's especially interesting that the Azores might have been involved in this and other activities in the New World, which is a big deal for understanding European history. The way the road was built matches up well with the historical events and artifacts discovered around it, particularly the British coins in the study of New World history, where it's often hard to find detailed historical documents proving facts and backing them up with evidence. The work done on the stone road has now set a high standard for future research into the history of the New World before the 19th century, providing a model that future archaeologists can follow. It's hard to claim any single discovery as the most important historically or archaeologically because each discovery is valuable, not just at the moment it's made, but for how it helps us understand history better moving forward. Uncovering this ancient Portuguese stone road has brought to light a lesser-known but significant part of New World history. More than just its direct historical value, the road has had a huge impact on archaeologists, historians, and even the general public. The findings along the stone road and its structures have far surpassed what anyone initially thought they would. The historical and cultural importance of these findings has opened up a new chapter in our exploration for connections to the ancient ancestors of Polynesia. Although the visible part of the road stretches over 820 feet in a straight line, geophysical studies suggest it might continue for almost a mile both north and southwest. This road is roughly 3 feet wide and has been built in sections, sometimes with a single layer of stones, sometimes with several. The edges are neatly lined with large basalt slabs, which are then packed in with smaller stones and organic material. This structured road reaches its widest at the water's edge, where it's been shaped by wave action during high surf, exposing parts of the underlying chocolate-brown sand cliffs. The road's stone structure is now partly underwater, but that's not the end of it. This discovery isn't just about finding an old road. It's about piecing together how advanced the builders were in their planning and execution, showing a sophisticated understanding of engineering and local environmental conditions. The stone road's construction reveals a lot about the capabilities and intentions of its creators, offering insights into the technological and societal developments of the time. The team is eagerly continuing their treasure hunt, driven by their passion and growing curiosity about what the treasure might be and where it could be hidden. Their ongoing dedication is fueled by the exciting prospect of what they might discover next. Without this hopeful anticipation, it's doubtful that their efforts would continue. Thanks to their meticulous research, the team has formed several theories about the nature of the treasure, backed by various pieces of evidence. One prominent idea suggests that the treasure could be connected to the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar were historically known for amassing and hiding valuable items. They came under sudden and intense scrutiny on October 13, 1307, when the French King Philip arrested members of the Templar Order. It is believed that many Templar knights escaped to Scotland, particularly to the county of New Ross, which is quite close to the island. Concurrently, Sir Henry Sinclair, a 14th-century political prisoner and a known Templar associate, fled to Nova Scotia. His travels and activities in the area are marked by intriguing stone carvings found in Westford, Massachusetts, and Newport, Rhode Island, suggesting Templar activity. These carvings, along with his reputed 1398 voyage to the New World, lend credence to the theory of a Templar mission during this period. The discovery of a 14th-century lead cross and parchment documents further supports the hypothesis of a Templar expedition around that time. The theory holds that the Templar treasure was initially kept in Scotland. Facing persecution, it seems likely that the Templars would have made efforts to relocate their treasure to a safer place. Historical documents indicate that the last known Grand Master of the Templars set sail for Scotland in 1296 with a select group of knights and possibly some concealed valuable items. This aligns well with various activities noted on the island, such as attempts to excavate and intentionally flood the pit, followed by a sudden stop in work. This sensation might indicate that the project reached a satisfactory conclusion, possibly in preparation for a planned future return. These events align with the late 14th to early 15th century, a period marked by significant Templar and their associates' activities in Nova Scotia. There's even more. Further investigations on the Orkney Islands by Alexander Sinclair, a knight and a descendant of Sinclair, appear to have been aimed at exploring the most effective methods to transport the treasure back to Scotland. This involves specific construction techniques similar to those employed in the Money Pit, including coconut fiber platforms and sophisticated flood tunnels designed to safeguard the hidden treasures. The ongoing fascination with the treasure hunt is not just about the potential financial gain, it's also about the thrill of linking present-day discoveries with historical events and figures, weaving a narrative that extends far back into the annals of time. This connection to history enriches the treasure hunt, providing a deeper meaning and context to the search. Each clue uncovered feels like a direct line to the past, offering insights into the lives and actions of those who came before. Connecting the treasure hunt to the Knights Templar adds a new layer, mixing history with exciting legends that fuel the team's drive. The Lagina brothers and the Templar legends, moreover, have gathered a wide audience, captivated by each development and revelation. This broad interest also encourages a wider discussion about the implications of such discoveries, how they are handled, and what they mean for our understanding of history. As new technologies and methods become available, the team integrates these tools into their search, refining their strategies and approaches in hopes of finally uncovering the long-sought-after treasure. The treasure hunt also serves as a beacon for adventurers, historians, and treasure seekers worldwide, demonstrating the enduring appeal of uncovering the unknown. The very idea that a significant historical artifact or treasure might be buried on this small island in Nova Scotia fuels the imagination and drives global interest in the story. The search for treasure is much more than a mere treasure hunt. It is a complex exploration of history, technology, and human curiosity. Each step taken on the island is a step back in time, a piece fitting into the vast jigsaw of human history. As the Lagina brothers and their team continue their quest, they not only look for treasure but also for connections to our shared past, making every find a valuable piece of the larger historical picture. This path, enriched with the legends of the Knights Templar and potentially transformative historical discoveries, keeps both the team and the world eagerly watching, waiting to see what the next dig will reveal. At the Chapel of Roslund excavation site, a new team joined in and discovered that the entrance was cleverly rigged with traps, including a water tunnel leading all the way to the sea. This intriguing twist adds weight to a well-thought-out idea about the island's path that the Lagina group has been piecing together. From their research, they found consistent signs of people coming and going on the island, dating back to the very first attempts to settle there, shown by items like coconut fibers and an old stone with markings known as the 90-foot stone. This suggests that the island was likely visited many times by different groups, possibly including the Templars and the Sinclairs. But wait, there's more. Meanwhile, Rob McInnes, a filmmaker and writer active in Newland, has been busy collecting stories about the Sinclair family's history. His efforts, backed by academic research, are spreading his theories and offering rich insights to the Lagina group, adding depth to the island's history. This work could even kickstart a broader recounting of the history of New Ross and Nova Scotia, potentially leading to a revival of interest in the cultural and historical significance of the island. Discovering solid evidence that connects with the recorded history can help rewrite the story of the Canadian Atlantic provinces before the British came, putting the island at the center of this historical narrative. This is a piece of history that Nova Scotians and all Canadians might be really proud of. Given the close proximity of the island to the mainland, these discoveries seem within reach. However, whether this will fully explain the supposed treasure on the island is still up in the air. Digging up places like the Stone Road will definitely be challenging and complicated, with many potential setbacks. The scale of this project is incredibly large. The road itself is 3.7 miles long, and right now, only a small team of about 20 people is working on excavating the site and its surroundings. There's evidence suggesting that this road needed continuous work for about 100 years. If every person who ever used the road helped maintain it at some point, that would mean about 60,000 people were involved. Although these numbers might seem a bit high, they highlight just how big of a workforce and how much time would have been needed to build such a road. Facing this situation, the research team has some tough challenges ahead. As modern farming techniques become more widespread, heavy machinery is wreaking havoc on archaeological sites. It's alarming how just one run of a plow through a small section of land can permanently damage an archaeological site. Given that the road is near open fields, there's a real risk it could soon be destroyed because of modern farming practices. The story and the relics from early explorers that have surfaced have slowly become part of the wider historical tapestry. At first glance, the history seems complex and a bit confusing, with so many different takes and not enough solid proof, leaving a lot up for discussion. This mostly comes from how treasure hunters have often ignored detailed archaeological techniques. They've usually been more interested in the fastest way to find the rumored riches, often damaging the site in the process. This reckless search has led to severe damage, with many structures on the island being torn down and completely wrecked. Keep watching for more. The damage done to various parts of the island is irreversible and a real loss for those who care about Nova Scotia's history and its own story. It's important to understand that our history is fragile, and this island is just one small part of that delicate history. Yet the recent burst of activity on the island has brought to light its potential, uncovering a new and rich layer of history. We're hopeful that moving forward, there will be a proper archaeological approach where findings are carefully dug up, studied, and recorded accurately. This could transform the current treasure hunt mindset into a more respectful and scientifically sound exploration of the island's rich historical layers. This change in approach could open up new perspectives on the island's history, shifting the focus from treasure hunting to understanding the historical significance of the findings. By treating the island not just as a treasure trove but as a historical site with valuable lessons about the past, we might uncover insights about the people who came to the island long ago, their lives, and their purposes. Proper excavation and careful handling of artifacts could provide a clearer picture of the island's past, contributing to a more comprehensive understanding of its historical context. This would not only enrich our knowledge but also ensure the preservation of this part of Nova Scotia's heritage for future generations to study and appreciate. Apart from Oak Island, many other islands hold rich histories and legends of hidden treasures, calling out to those who seek adventure and discovery. Islands with tales of buried riches throughout history have intrigued treasure seekers from around the world, each offering its own fascinating stories of hidden wealth and thrilling adventures. These islands aren't just stunning to look at, they're also steeped in history, drawing in explorers and adventurers eager to uncover fabled treasures. Take Norman Island in the British Virgin Islands, for example. It's famous for its links to old pirate stories and is thought to have inspired Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. The island features places like Privateer Bay and Money Bay, named to reflect its adventurous past. Back in the 18th century, pirates used the island as a hideout, and there have been whispers about buried treasure there for years. Visitors can now hike the island's picturesque trails and snorkel among its colorful coral reefs, all the while wondering about the treasures that might still be hidden under its sands. Then there's Frigate Island in the Seychelles, another hot spot for pirate activity. The feared pirate Olivier Lasser, also known as Captain Louse, is said to have hidden a massive treasure there, including the Golden Cross of Goa he seized. Despite many searches over the years, this treasure remains unfound. Besides its pirate history, Frigate Island dazzles with its stunning natural beauty, featuring lush greenery, untouched beaches, and a wealth of wildlife. Isle Sainte-Marie off Madagascar's coast was another favorite among pirates in the 17th and 18th centuries. Notable pirates like William Kidd visited what was known as a pirate haven. Many believe that huge treasures were stashed on the island, and treasure hunters still scour the area hoping to find these riches. With its captivating history and gorgeous scenery, the island remains a draw for those fascinated by pirate tales. In South America, there's Coco Island off Costa Rica's coast, famous for its own tales of hidden pirate loot. Legends say that Captain William Thompson buried a vast treasure here after stealing it from a Spanish ship. Numerous expeditions have tried and failed to find it. Coco Island isn't just about treasure hunts. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site renowned for its exceptional biodiversity and marine life. The Galapagos, here though, although no significant finds have been made, these stories continue to attract those with a sense of adventure to the Galapagos. The Pacific's Pitcairn Islands, known for the famous HMS Bounty mutiny in 1789, also have stories of hidden treasures. It's said that the mutineers may have hidden some of the ship's valuables on the island. Despite searches, no major treasures have surfaced, but the tale of the mutiny and the island's secluded charm still pull in explorers. In the Caribbean, Raton Island off Honduras has its share of treasure tales. Pirates like Henry Morgan reportedly used the island as a base and hid treasures in its caves and along its shores. Today, Raton's clear waters and historical appeal make it a favored spot for divers and treasure seekers alike. Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay is another intriguing spot. Built in the 1930s for an exposition, it's linked to various legends of hidden riches from the gold rush era. While these tales are more folklore than reality, the island's historical and cultural importance enhances its appeal. Lastly, the Mediterranean's tiny Portofino in Tunisia was a pirate stronghold in the 17th century. Pirates are believed to have buried gold and other valuables here to keep them safe. Despite numerous searches, no treasure has been recovered, yet the island's rich pirate history continues to fascinate. These islands, each with their unique history and legends, continue to captivate those with a spirit of adventure. While the treasures they hold may be material or simply the beauty of their natural landscapes, the stories and quests for hidden riches add a layer of excitement and wonder to these enchanting locations.